Already, I'm going to be doing my week 2 picks for the NFL week 2 regular season 2024. The reason that I didn't do week 1 is you're probably wondering why that's not out there. Week 1 can get kind of sketchy, so I decided I didn't want to go into week 1 like blind or whatever, so I just said I'll start at week 2. But let me get this started. We're going through every single game. And the first game, Bills versus Dolphins, Thursday Night Football. This is a game where I think if you look at what's happened recently, the Bills have won 6 of the 7 last meetings in this game. So I'm going to go against the spread, against the bettors. And I'm going to say Bills take this one 27-24. I just have a feeling that Josh Allen and company gets it done. Next game, going into Sunday for the first of the slate in the 1 o'clock window, we have the Cowboys and the Saints. Currently, I think that the Dallas Cowboys in this game, coming off their momentum, Saints are coming off momentum too, but I think the Cowboys will win this one 30-20. I just think that they're too good at this point, and let's be honest, Saints beat up on a very weak Carolina Panthers team. Going to the next game, Bucs versus Lions, also in the 1 o'clock window. I have the Lions in this one, 24-17. This is a rematch of the NFC divisional game that was pretty close. So Detroit, I think they exactly hit their spread. I think that line is actually really good and accurate. Lions have a really good team. Bucs played really well the other day, but I still think that the Lions get this one done. Going on to the next game, we have the Colts and the Packers. And if the Packers are trotting out Malik Willis, you can't really expect them to win this game. So that's why I have the Colts 30-17 and a bit of a landslide. I just don't know if Green Bay can play good competitive football without Jordan Love. And for the Colts, they almost beat Houston. You have a pretty good roster there, surprisingly. Next up, the Jets and the Titans. And a lot of people were dogging on the Jets for that performance against the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers hadn't played like in 2 seasons. So you got to cut him a break at that point. There were some other issues. And the 49ers are just a really good team. I have the Jets big in this one. I have the Jets 28-14 against the Titans team where Will Levis just crashed at the end of that game. And I think that they looked a lot better early than what they're going to be this year. They might be terrible. Going on, we have the 49ers and the Vikings. And the Vikings got a good win the other week with Sam Darnold, but it was against a pretty trashy New York Giants team. So with that being said, we know what the 49ers are at this point. Christian McCaffrey might play. He doesn't need to play. The Mason guy is really good. They brought in people. Jennings, believe it or not, is playing really well as a receiver. You have so many weapons. Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, pick your poison. I have them winning 35-10 in a landslide, well covering the spread. Next game we have Seahawks, Patriots. Patriots coming off of that big win against the Bengals that nobody, including myself, saw coming from what was probably a mile away. And somehow they got that win, but I think the Seahawks, they're going to come to play in this one. They have a really solid defense by their sides backing them, so I have no other choice but to choose them to get this W in this game, and I think that they're going to win this one, and the final score is going to be 17-10 in their direction. Next up, we have a really interesting game, in my opinion. We have the Giants versus the Washington Commanders. Commanders didn't look great the other game. Giants looked absolutely terrible. I'm going to give the edge to the Commanders here. I think they win this one 18-14. They're the favorite in this game, so I think they cover their spread of 1.5. I just think that you have more going on at quarterback. Daniel Jones' confidence at this point has to be shot after what I saw by the end of that. So that's why I'm going to go with the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. Next game we have the new look Chargers against the terrible Panthers. And I got to give this one to the Chargers. I think the Chargers win 21-7. J.K. Dobbins starting to emerge. If you forget, he was actually a threat in Baltimore. Just had a lot of injury issues. Harbaugh's never had a bad team before. His defense actually came to together in that game against the Raiders. And the Raiders, who they beat, are a little bit better than the Panthers. Not much, but a little bit better than the Panthers. So I think that this is an easy win for the Chargers. Then we go on to my hottest take of the entire video, probably, and that's Browns-Jags. And Browns coming off that awful game. Deshaun Watson looked terrible. There was a lot of issues. The offense doesn't look great. You could make a debate that Jags are coming off a really tough loss against Miami where they choked. They choked that game away. And there was the ETN fumble. They had a 17-7 lead. They were playing really well. I think that you could see a super competitive game here. And I think that whoever loses this one, it could lead to potentially the end of their season. So I'm going to give the nod to the Browns. It's 2017. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with the Browns one more time, see if they can win this competitive matchup. If not, their season's in a lot of trouble. But I'm going to go Browns 20-17 in this game. Then we go to the 4:00 window games, and we have the Raiders versus the Ravens. Don't need to say much about this one. Minshew's not going to be able to handle that Raven defense. Mar Jackson's probably might not run that wild. You do have Crosby, but I think he still has a really good game. This isn't the Chiefs. They play the Chiefs really well. This worse team than the Chiefs, obviously. And so that being said, I think they win 28-10, Baltimore in favor. But I don't think it's going to be a very competitive game at all. Then you go to a game that a lot of people are hyping up, the Rams and the Cardinals. And for whatever reason, the Cardinals are favored in this game. I don't like a lot about the Cardinals. I think that Kyler Murray's scrambling too much, not targeting Marvin Harrison Jr. for some reason. And it's kind of like, why did you draft him at that point then? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because there's a lot of places where he's not even looking his way, which is like really confusing to me. But no, I have the Rams in this game. You have Cooper Kupp, looks to be healthy. The defense, Sean McVay. Give me the Rams 24-14. Then we go to the Steelers and the Broncos. Game that I think could be really interesting. But you also have to understand, the Steelers won that game against Atlanta because you have Arthur Smith as he was the former head coach of that team. He knows all the personnel on the Falcons, and it was still somewhat of a struggle to win. Give me the Broncos. Give me Bo Nix. Give me Sean Payton. 17-7. That might be in some people's opinion, that might be the hottest take of this video, but give me the Broncos in this game. Next, we have the Bengals versus the Chiefs, which usually is a great matchup. But like, if you look at the stats, and you might think I'm crazy on this, but if you look at the stats, Bengals cannot play in week 1 and 2. They just can't play. So I have no choice but to take the Chiefs in a landslide here. That would make the most sense in my opinion. 24-7 Chiefs, in my opinion here. I think it's a bit of a landslide. Bengals, I think the Bengals recover, and they still might even win the AFC North. But from what I've been given, from what I've seen, from what the data says, this is what I have to do. Next, we're going to go to Sunday Night Football, a great game. Bears versus Texans, NBC game. I think Houston wins this one 35-20. I don't think it's that close, but I think that Caleb Williams shows a little bit of his first signs. I just think that Houston's a really good team right now. They might be the third best team in the NFL for all we know right now. Got to take them. Then we go to the Monday night matchup, Falcons-Eagles. I think Philly takes this one, just minorly covers the spread. I think it's 20-13. I think it's a competitive matchup. But Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, I think they get the job done. And I think they beat Kirk Cousins in the Falcons. And I think he falls to 0-2. I will be back for week 3.